And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
My guest is Sifu Amin Jani, who had a spiritual transformation, and today we're going to learn about it. Sifu, welcome to the podcast, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Jeff.
All right, if you don't mind, can we start on the day that you had your spiritual transformation and go from there?
Sure, Jeff. So to describe what happened to me was I was in a time in my life. It was back in 2005. I was 24 then, and I was having a really stressful, time between relationship and work. I was doing 2 full-time jobs, being a manager in both of them, and overwhelming amount of stress with those. Literally working 10 to 12 hours a day, sometimes 6 days a week. And I had this girl I was in love with, but she was very emotionally like mean to me and stuff, and I could never make her happy, even though I was trying to do everything so hard. And I got really depressed, and I hit a low point that I kind of just pretty much felt like, man, what is the point of life? Like, there is a God, please tell me, or help me, or give me an answer. I felt like basically killing myself, not literally wanting to kill myself, but because I don't think that's a good thing to do, when I wouldn't do that to my parents or anything like that, but my friends or family. But it was like really bad though. I was like, just couldn't stop crying. Like, I basically was just pouring out all my emotions into, if there is a God out there. I do believe in God, but it's like kind of never asked God for anything. So this is like this one time I just felt like I had no one else to turn to. So I was just pleading, hoping to get an answer back or something, but I just cried myself, I think, unconscious to sleep. It's just like, boom, something happened, and I just passed out. And then I had this very intense experience while I was, unconscious or passed out. You call it a dream, like a lucid dream or something. I don't know what you want to call it, but it was like nothing I've ever experienced before, and I've never experienced anything like it since then. It's hard to describe, because if you're imagining like the sky was black and the ground was white, and split by this perfect horizon, and there's a big giant mass, would be like a planet, like right here, like in your face, like somehow like a giant moon thing, but it's big and circular, and it's got the opposite colors going on. So when the sky is black, the top half of this big massive ball was white, and the ground, vice versa, and the whites, the ground's white, and the bottom is black. That's what I meant to say. It's just literally like, it's a simple picture, but this thing was like, had a lot of power to it, and it was like, in a way, what felt like it was talking directly at me, answering like all the questions that I was having, as if like it knew everything I was thinking and feeling, and it literally came to just answer all these questions. And it lasted what seemed like like a 3-hour conversation that was being like more like someone was, excuse me, like someone like was downloading this. Now I don't know if this was God. I felt like it, if there was one. It was like, it was as if the talking was coming at me and just answering so fast, like as fast as the mind could think the questions in my head. It was like he already was hearing it and giving every answer. It's like filling out the blanks to everything, kind of just putting all the pieces together, making everything just started making sense. I almost like could see playback images of these events in my life, these things in my mind, like while I'm observing. It's like, he's answering these things. I'm like seeing what it's meaning, like really like, oh, I don't know how to explain it. It's just really weird. And it was something that felt like it was going on for hours in this presence of this person. So, or God, or whatever it is, this image or this entity and this thing. I don't know what it was. But when I woke up, everything was completely different. I could feel, well, first of all, I felt fantastic. All of a sudden, it was like I wasn't depressed anymore. I wasn't emotionally hurting or mentally like hurting. It was like a fresh start when I woke up. I felt like the most, you know, joyous sensations I hadn't felt in years. Like almost like a child when they're just happy and laughing, going lucky. It felt like I hadn't felt this good in so long. It was very blissful. It was very pleasurable experience. It lasted for about 2 weeks before I got used to it, and it's just kind of it was kind of weird, like because it was just brand new to me to feel this good all the time. No pains in my body. It was like the force. I'll get into this too. It was like I could feel the force, like in Star Wars. All of a sudden, it's like I could feel the distance between myself and the trees. I could feel people's heartbeats and their breath rates. Like it all just like I could see things that I couldn't see before. I understand and feel things I couldn't understand and feel before, which goes back to why it's funny is because I didn't believe like in the force. Uh, I trained, traditionally growing up with traditional martial arts stuff that have energy work, and I also did go to learn traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture stuff, but I didn't believe in this chi energy that they talk about. I wanted to believe in it, but I never experienced it or felt it before. I was 24, 25. This incident happened. I really did want to believe it. I did practices all the time, meditations, breath works, qigongs, everything. But I'm like, I'm doing everything everybody's saying, but I don't feel it. I even believe maybe only Asian, people can experience this, or maybe it's something like this or maybe it takes 50 years to feel. Like I don't know. Like I just never thought it would be real. Like maybe it's just all acupuncture is like hypothetical. Maybe it's like not chi. Maybe it's like nerves or something. I'm talking about like trying to rationalize like logically like that it doesn't exist, even though I want to believe in it. But after that experience, it was apparent that chi was real. So I kind of just got like, whoa, like this is the energies. And I pulled out all the stuff, all my old books. I hit up all my old teachers, even new teachers I found who could teach me more about the energy side of things. And I just made all this connection with the Eastern stuff, and in a way that I was like relearning everything that I learned again with new eyes, instead of trying to memorize things because they're just points on a body or there's just moves to do this way. It was a whole different experience for me to go start doing Tai Chi and Qigong again, and even like the acupuncture, and like it's totally different now, seeing energy and be able to put needles in a person, actually knowing like and feeling and seeing what's going on with energetically speaking. So it just took everything to a different level. And I also really got into the Vedic medicine too, and into yoga practice too, because it was the same kind of thing. Like they had their nadis and all this kind of thing. And now, I totally, vouch for, traditional medicine and TCM and acupuncture now, because chi's real. I know that now. It's not like it's some kind of, make-believe thing that Asian people created. It's real. And Qigong and Tai Chi, that stuff is real. And there is a spiritual side to it, that comes along with it, which is pretty cool.
Thank you for sharing your experience with us. Now, you mentioned that you prayed to God. I'm curious about your background. What religion are you? And did that make any impact on you about religion?
That's a good question. So when I was growing up, I was born into a Muslim family. But when my parents put me into private school, I went to a Catholic school. So I started going down that route. I went there for a little while. And then they took me out of that school and put me into a Baptist school later. And then, been very close with that, part of. I like Christianity. Period. I like all religions. It's what I practice myself now. I'm kind of like I just don't really go to church or I don't even unless someone is like hurting. I send them, if you want to say a prayer, I'll send them good wishes. I I don't ask God for anything, this kind of thing. I don't pray for things and stuff like that. I believe, in a God, I think Allah or God, whoever you want to call it, it's God, it's not something different like this. Because I also, when I went to college, I took, a couple of years of my two majors I was going for, which I did not end up getting because I ended up trying to go do music instead, and I left to be a rock star. But um, I did 2 years of the psychology 1 and 2, and the sociology, and those were going to be my two majors, and then a minor in philosophy. And I did that 1 and 2, but so for me that was like something really interesting, and that gave me a different perspective. And at the same time, my mom got into this Buddhist and Taoist kind of beliefs, exploring that kind of stuff. She got into reading those books, buying those books, and I was reading that stuff too, and I really resonate with it because I'm like, ooh, these are like actually not religions; they're like philosophies. And so yeah, I just I'm all over the place with religions and philosophies, I guess you could say.
Do you feel like you were spiritually transformed after that experience?
Yes. The answer is yes. I do feel like that. It did do that because, again, something for 25 years of my life that or wanted to believe. 20 years I wanted to believe this thing, and I never seen a sign of it until this experience. And then so it was a real eye opener that this stuff is real, and energy is real, and spirituality is out there. It's real. Like it's pretty amazing. It's like made me so excited that I wanted to get everybody else to learn that they could do it too, or feel this stuff too. And the hard part was like, I never really tell people this story about my experience that made the change, because I'm not going to ever tell people like, hey, be depressed and feel like you want to kill yourself, and then just ask God, and then you boom, all of a sudden you're having spiritual explosion or whatever, and that's good. I mean, but because I wanted to be practical and useful and give value to the world, because this now to me is a very precious thing. After that experience, I was like, wow, this chi energy stuff, the stuff they're talking about, and this qigong, tai chi, and these traditional Chinese medicines and acupuncture stuff is very precious, and we all have it. This is like our life force, and this is a very precious thing. Since now I know what the experience of having and moving and dealing with this life force, I believe I could help others find the experience of the life force too. So from that point forward, dedicated my life to teaching people the energy stuff. And it kind of goes right along with my traditional martial arts stuff. So it just felt natural to do it at the time, instead of working for the software company.
Is there any tips that you can give us on how to get in touch with chi ourselves without having a depressed state of mind?
Sure. That's a very good question. The beautiful thing about energy work is that it does have many different levels to it and many ways to deal with it. But the most simplest and basic is breathing. Okay. Deep breathing, slow, rhythmic breathing. For a few minutes, one will start feeling a lot better. Their body will get more energy. Now, this is still just like oxygen sensation. Now, the chi stuff, it will be a little bit more difficult to explain because that takes more of a meditative mind. And the breathing, though, can get you there. So the breathing can get the stress out, and it can open you up and make you feel relaxed. Like breath equals relaxation, and a relaxed body will make a relaxed mind. And so the mind gets relaxed from the breathing. And then when you're in a meditative state, you can actually start paying attention more to things. Excuse me, like your heartbeat. Start noticing the pulse. See if you internally can become aware of the things working inside of you. Literally, the pulse, your heartbeat is a very good one. Start you can check your temples. You can check these places like your throat. Not even with your hands, like literally using your mind when you're after doing good relaxation, deep breathing, and you're calm and you're in the meditative state. You can use your focus to go in and check these areas, your chest, where your heart is, you can go down Well, you just go down anywhere through your body, all the way down to your toes, pretty much. You can feel it, and then you can even go up to your hands and feel your fingers and see if you can feel the blood running through your fingers. This is kind of awareness that you get. You can start building a chi awareness, you know, and then you can go further down the rabbit hole after that. But that's a very good beginner, basic way. The breathing will help with stress, which is a good thing you asked, because this is healthy stuff, you know. And then if you want to actually feel more of the chi, it goes, like I said, with this pulse. What they do say is that chi is like air, but as a chi runs with the blood, and so there you have it. That's a very simple way of trying to find and experience chi.
You're saying that chi also runs with your blood. So is that why it's good to kind of try to feel the circulation in your body in different points of your body?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. That's very well said. That's what you're going to start noticing is what your chi is, because you will start feeling if these areas, and you'll start being able to learn to control the speed. You'll be able to control your heart rate. If you'll be aware of it if it's going up and elevated too much, and you'll be able to calm it, just by self-awareness at this point, and it's useful.
What is your opinion of Reiki, and do you practice it or not?
I do not practice Reiki, and that's actually a good question that you asked me, because I have some bones to pick with that, because it kind of just came out of nowhere. But some people claim it is traditional. Mm-hmm. Again, I practice, traditional stuff from like Shaolin. So there's traditional Qigong, and, I practice traditional, Tai Chi type of stuff. So not something that seems to pop up like out of nowhere, and then start giving people certificates. And also the practice of laying hands and healing with people is actually a dangerous thing. Even Qigong guys do it, but there's always side effects to it. I've done it myself for a lot of people, and I've helped them cure like things that you can, everything from Crohn's to someone who had like never-ending restless leg syndromes, or someone with like really certain like bad nerve pains, always burning or something like this. Is that? And even someone like with broken bones injuries, like helping these kind of things like heal correctly and properly, you can do it by guiding the energy, with a person. And this whole concept that they have many people doing it, I guess it takes it off the burden of it, one person using his energy alone, because that's where the side effects really come. You only have so much of this precious energy. The point of is to accumulate this energy to be vital and healthy. When we do things like this kind of healing, we're depleting our very special energy that we build. First, you have to be able to build it up to admit it. So I don't know, these guys get there, like some people get certain things like in a few days, and it's like, and they're just doing a technique and they're doing it together, and they're like, well, we have visualizations to protect us. We can visualize this bracelet here to protect the bad energy from coming in and all this kind of stuff. And so for me, I do understand visualization is a very powerful tool, but as a practical Qi guy, it's actually kind of dangerous for people to try to go out and heal people with their hands. I stopped myself from doing that when I started realizing the side effects were real. I had a teacher telling me you shouldn't do it, there'd be side effects. I'm like, yeah, right. All these other guys doing it, So I go off, doing it because it's cool to do, and people, you're making people feel better, and so. But I learned my lesson the hard way. And I've known a lot of people who practice Reiki. After many years, if they have been taking it seriously, they start realizing I get side effects from it. I don't really do it anymore.
Are you saying that the patient gets side effects, or you as the practitioner get the side effects?
You as the healer get the side effects, because what you're doing is, in essence, a person will have an energy blockage in their body called creating an issue, and you can use your energy here to get rid of the blockage. Then when you do this, though, you're literally giving this person your energy into their system, and that's why it's going to start circulating and help to the patient, because it's like a foreign energy in their body, and you place it there to move in that area and free that area up. The thing with this is that it's still your energy, and you've lost some of your energy. And not only is that your energy is also touching this other person, and it's getting mixed up with that point, that blockage, that negative energy that you're touching to try to free up. So you're experiencing some of that come into you. It's foreign for you too. Your body has to expel this unwanted thing that you've gotten from the patient. Oh, the patient is glad that they have yours in there because it's making them feel better. But the also a real sad thing about this is that this kind of healing, it's only temporary for the patient, you know. So once it's done its thing, if whatever caused the problem originally, if the person's still living a lifestyle in a way that this problem will occur again, and then it was like the healing will be for nothing. You have to go back again and say, hey, months later, it's hurting again, you know? So I just hope these guys as healers will be more careful, and I hope, you know, the people who are going to be patients also try to be equally as responsible about taking care of themselves when a healer does, out of compassion, try to heal you, you know?
It sounds like the side effects are that you start absorbing the patient's energy. And so do you get like physically in pain yourself or sick, or
Sure.
what are some of the things that you feel?
It's kind of like what you experience is actually the symptoms of the illness itself. So if someone with Crohn's having extreme, you know, small intestine inflammation, you feel it. You know, you'll feel it for the next week or maybe even longer. You got to do something to clear yourself out. You know, and make sure that you're not letting you're just taking on someone else's quote unquote karma. You know.
Would you consider yourself an energy healer?
Yes, but not the typical trying to do my hands. I did do that, but I stopped doing. As a healer, I do everything based on energetic principles, but I try to teach people how they can heal themselves by getting in touch with their own energy. So that's the best self-healing, you know, is the best way to go. So as an energy healer, I teach people how to heal themselves.
How do you think this experience changed the way that you practice martial arts?
That's a good question. That's a very good question, because so in martial arts, you know, there's a lot of this forms that you learn and techniques that you learn. So everything is like a 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got to be done this way, that way, you know. And it's very, very linear, and it's just very straightforward. And so when I had this kind of impact, and I could feel the chi, because you know, you have parts of martial arts like the qigong and tai chi, and then you're moving slowly and breathing and doing this kind of stuff. Okay, before my martial arts, I thought I was just doing the right things by going like this. It's going up, going down, take a step, turn the hips. It's all mechanical, biomechanical, right? Just boom, 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 boom. But now, to me, it's very profound, because when I'm going up and I'm coming down, I'm feeling the chi. I'm feeling the energy of the heaven and earth, you know, coming. I'm feeling the force, so to speak, the distance between myself and others. It made me a better fighter too, even with the regular, you know, Taekwondo style stuff to the other Kung Fu hard training stuff, because being able to, you kind of just have this like understanding of distance and feeling, and it's kind of like your subconscious is like already knowing what the person is going to do 5 steps in ahead. So it gets really easy. The reflexes get very, very sharp, easy to block things, you know, even without like directly looking at a person. You can start feeling like, and you know how hard or how soft to hit, like where exactly to hit, and you have like perfect aim, you know. It's kind of this weird phenomenon that now it's like gone from kung fu to spiritual kung fu. You know, it's like, yeah.
So you had your transformation. Did you immediately change your job and your relationship status, or what did you do about that?
Oh yeah. Well, I did. I changed. I quit working for the company, and I decided to start my own, which was energy cultivation, a long time ago. But yeah, so I did quit the software company, and I did, you know, create energy cultivation and start, you know, creating a course to teach people a way to start experiencing chi. And I did healings for people in person, and it grew into me doing teaching classes at the university, the Tai Chi, Qigong, breathing, meditation, yin yoga type thing going on, and some mixed martial arts and all that stuff, taekwondo stuff. But so, I was getting out there in person at the local university and also at the local health club, and doing it online, you know. Um, and as far as the relationship goes, I'm still friends with her to this day. So it's all good, I've never burned a bridge, with anybody. I'm still friends with everyone from, when I was working there and her. So it's cool. I was never mean to anybody. I'm very passive.
I just thought it would be interesting to hear about how you changed your life after the transformation, especially with the things that were not working out for you.
Oh yeah. So what it did, instead of like feeling like I was being hurt all the time by her, I just understood, like, obviously she'd be better off with somebody else than me. Like, so why am I gonna get into fights with her all the time? I mean, about stuff, or she's usually just picking on me about things. I'm working hard but neglecting her. I'm like, I'm not. You want this stuff and you want that stuff. You want me to, you know, you want me to do things for you, but I can't be two places at once. It's kind of like you pick me or pick that. So I'm like, okay, I wanted to. I was in love with her, but I couldn't. I had to be able to pay for stuff. I had to, just realistically, I had to have those jobs. But then I got, after that experience, I was like, you know what? I don't need to be here. I'm actually passionate about this stuff. I want to start from scratch. And I did the same thing with the relationship. I told her, you know what? I love you. I'm always here for you if you need, but I think we should just stop seeing each other. I think it'd be better off with somebody else. I think I need to, spend time alone. I got this whole thing I want to go do now.
Did your friends and family notice a difference in you after the transformation?
They did. And it was pretty cool for all of them. They kind of loved it at first, but later, they were kind of just like surprised that I was serious about taking it serious all the time. They thought maybe it's just like, oh, this is really cool. Like, yeah, I feel the chi. Like, oh, that's cool that you figured that out. But then, when they realize I'm making it serious, like I want to teach this to people, they're like, oh, come on, it's just a fad, or whatever. You'll just get over this. You should go do something like the software kind, stay practical. Like, I'm like, but no, like, I believe in this thing. I want to take a chance. The funny thing is, I've been working for myself ever since I stopped working for other people, and I've been doing this ever since then. So, and they're proud of me to this day. They're like, oh, we never in our life imagined like you would still be doing it this long and have grown, online presence so much, or you made so many courses and you selling books and having classes for so long, so many classes, in the university, so yeah, everyone's proud of me. Like, my family, my friends are very proud of me, very supportive, and it's pretty cool. And then, even though they didn't understand it at first when I was making such a what they would say, maybe not irrational decision. Are you going to quit your job to start something? Can't you like keep your job and do this on the side? I'm like, no, man. Like Neo in the Matrix, I was in a computer. I'm like, now it's like, no, it's like, go out and save the world.
What do you think inspires you about your transformation?
What it does is it taught me a very important lesson. One of the most important lessons that I can always tell people is that there is always like something better down the road that's coming your way if you just can hang in there and be patient. It's just like some people out there, if they were ever as depressed as I was, it's not, it won't last forever. You can get out of it. There's ways to heal. There's always something positive. I'm not saying the grass is always greener on the other side, but literally there's a silver lining out there, that you can find. You just try hard enough, and it's worth trying. It's worth trying. That's the thing I learned. It's always worth to try. Keep trying. Never give up on yourself.
Yeah, I think that's great. As you were speaking, you mentioned that you have courses and books and stuff. Can you tell us about that if people want to check it out?
Sure. So if you were to go to my website, energy dash, the minus sign, cultivation.com, you would see that we have a Zoom class going on called Pipe. It's a pathway to inner peace and enlightenment class. And it's only $30 a month, for example. And we do courses a couple times a week over Zoom. And so you actually get to work with me and Reza as instructors. And we cover things like Tai Chi, Qigong, breath work, meditation, and Yin Yoga. And then we also like to just talk with the students when students have questions, so we can help them understand more of this Qi energy.
After watching this podcast, people may want to reach out to you and ask you questions. Are you open to that, or are you a private person?
I'm always answering people's questions, so it's okay. I do have an email address that you can send me directly questions. It's just asksifuaj@gmail.com.
Before we finish up here, do you have one last positive message that you want to share with everyone?
Sure. Life is good. So always stay positive, and good things will happen. That's my message to everybody.
That's a great message.
I really can't say anything more than that. Positivity is the most important thing you can ever have. Just constantly stay positive. Life is beautiful. Don't let coronaviruses scare you. I'm not trying to get into that kind of thing, but don't let the war stuff scare you. You be positive. The world will be more positive. People will solve problems faster.
Thank you for that. And Sifu, thank you for being my guest today. I really appreciate you, and I wish you the best.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. You have an awesome podcast going on. I'm honored to be part of this wonderful channel of yours, and your work is amazing. So keep it up. Yeah, man. Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Thank you, and have a great day.
Yeah. Namaste.
Thanks for watching the JeffMara podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are loyalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out more. Thank you for your support.